Coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, the sailing capital of the world, home of the world's largest crab feast, and 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, a daily roundup of local news that you can use, including local sports, local events, local opinion, and local weather from DMV Weather. Now here's your host, publisher of Eye on Annapolis, John Frenaye.
We made it. We survived October. Hello, it is Wednesday, November 1st. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. I hope you had a great Halloween. Terror struck in New York yesterday as a man in a rented pickup truck mowed down pedestrians and bicyclists along a busy bike path on the Lower West Side near the World Trade Center Memorial. At least 8 are dead and 11 seriously injured in what the mayor of New York has called a particularly cowardly act of terror. The driver was shot by police after jumping out of the truck, what witnesses say shouting, "Allahu Akbar." The man underwent surgery and is in critical condition and is expected to survive. He has unofficially been identified as a 29-year-old Saifullo Saipov, originally from Uzbekistan. He traveled along the bike path in a rented Home Depot truck for the equivalent of about 14 blocks, or around 0.8 of a mile, before slamming into a yellow school bus. There will be much more information that will come out in the days ahead. Locally, the Capitol is reporting that prosecutors have identified the gang MS-13 as being behind the murder of an Annapolis woman who was found in an unmarked grave in Crownsville last month. This is the first indication publicly from law enforcement that MS-13 is behind any of the recent disappearances, murders, and recoveries of bodies that we've seen in the area recently. A grand jury indicted 5 people on Friday in the murder of Jenny B. Rivera Lopez. This morning, the Anne Arundel County Public Schools are set to vote on next year's school calendar. The proposed calendar would start classes after Labor Day, in accordance with the executive order issued by Governor Larry Hogan last year. The school year would end on Friday, June 14th. Spring break is going to be shrunk to 3 days, and school would also need to account for closings for Election Day and Yom Kippur. And in People Really Suck news, earlier we had talked about Marissa Harris of Olney, Maryland, who is a Towson University graduate, was killed when a 12-year-old boy jumped from an overpass in Fairfax County, Virginia, landed on her car in a suicide attempt. Now her parents are saying that fake online fundraising accounts are being set up for her daughter's funeral. The family said they are still considering how to honor her memory and commitment to helping kids in crisis, but haven't set up any fundraising effort. Really, people? Anne Arundel County Parks and Rec Department is feeling a little bit of heat right now. They have received 2 complaints of helicopters spraying herbicide on people in parks. Obviously not intentionally, but the county has grounded the helicopter. They've grounded the program to see what's going on. The first complaint was last Friday when Donna Cole, a reporter with WNAV, was walking through the Jug Bay Wetland Sanctuary in Lothian. Cole was able to take pictures of the helicopter, and she tweeted out her shock at being sprayed. Ultimately, the chemical was identified as aquanite, which is used to stop the phragmites growing in the bay. An MSDS, or a material safety data sheet on the chemical, says it does not pose any health hazards, but it was recommended that the product be washed off clothes and skin and watch for any irritated skin there. A second case was in Pasadena. A woman in a boat in Rock Creek near Weinberg Park said she was also sprayed on Monday. Somewhat related, Scott Schaefer, who was the former county economist appointed under Laura Newman, is calling for the resignation of Rick Anthony, who is the director of the County Parks and Recs Department. He cites poor communication and the latest incident with the helicopter spraying people in the parks. Schaefer is rumored also to be running for District 6 County Council. Good news out of Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, formerly out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Tina Frost, 27, the Arundel High School graduate from Gambrills, has emerged from her coma. She was flown to Baltimore after being treated in Las Vegas after being shot at the Route 91 festival. And according to the update on her GoFundMe page, which, by the way, has raised almost $600,000 for her treatment, her supporters say, quote, "She was just moved out of ICU today, and her new room on the 12th floor has a great view of Baltimore. Its own bathroom, which she likes, jumping out of bed on her own, forcing us and the nurses to scramble to assist. The next few weeks, she will continue physical, occupational, and speech therapies and relearn what she has forgotten and maybe even start speaking. We continue to be so overwhelmed by everyone's support and especially the avalanche of prayers that have been lifted for Tina. Please continue to pray in the days ahead, and we'll continue to keep you posted every few days. Love to our Tina team. Great news out of Johns Hopkins. All the best for Tina Frost and her family. The Baltimore Orioles and the Washington Nationals are continuing their 13-year-old pissing match. Last year, the Naval Academy hosted the Naval Academy Baseball Classic, which saw the Nationals as well as the Red Sox play an exhibition game on April 1st. It was supposed to be a multi-year deal, but apparently not so much this year. The Orioles filed a complaint with Major League Baseball contending that Annapolis and Anne Arundel County is Orioles territory and not Nationals territory. MLB was required to investigate. They did, and they agreed with them. So the remaining games have been canceled. Way to ruin a fun time, Orioles. And speaking of sports, stay tuned because Kevin Chaney will be here with some of your local stuff.
This is Maryland. The weather can be nearly unpredictable. We've got George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis to sort it all out.
Hey everyone, this is George from DMV Weather. Here's your Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, the first day of November 2017. After another cool morning earlier today in which temps were in the upper 30s to mid 40s across Anne Arundel County, we're looking at another fairly normal weather day for the Annapolis region with temps right around 60 degrees, give or take a degree or two. For today specifically, we posted a target high temp on our website of 60 degrees again for both downtown Annapolis and BWI Airport, and we should expect a mix of sun and clouds with an outside shot at a stray shower or two due to a small disturbance moving across the skies above to our north, while warm air to our south pushes northward toward our region. And with that warm air pushing up from the south, we will be looking at very nice conditions around Annapolis and all of Anne Arundel County Thursday and Friday with a fair amount of sunshine, fairly light winds, and temps in the upper 60s to low 70s, something we got incredibly used to throughout the month of October, which will go down in the record books as one of the warmest on record for the entire DMV region, as temps were generally 5+ degrees above average for the month, and that is a fairly large departure from normal statistically speaking. Last thing, the weekend will be back in the 60s, and there will be a small chance of showers Saturday night and into Sunday, but for the most part, it looks like a typical early November couple of days. Okay, that's it for us today. Be sure to download our free app by searching for DCMD VA Weather in your app store, and also be sure to follow us 24/7, 365 on our website at dmvweather.com or on social media via Twitter or Facebook. This is George Young of DMV Weather with your Annapolis forecast. Remember, whatever the weather out there, have fun and be safe.
Ram's Head on Stage is that awesome venue in the heart of downtown Annapolis where no seat is more than 48 feet from the stage. Big-time names in a small-town joint. On November 11th, John Lodge, guitarist and lead singer for the Moody Blues, makes his debut at Ram's Head. Following that, Sawyer Fredericks, the winner of the 8th season of The Voice, takes the stage on the 11th. Iconic rocker David Crosby makes a return to Annapolis for 2 intimate shows on November 27th and again on December 1st. And a little taste of honey on the 12th at Maryland Hall with Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And if you want to yuck it up a bit, the legendary comedy of Paula Poundstone is back in town once again on the 1st of December. And back over at Maryland Hall, that 70s band, Air Supply, will fill the hall with their hits on November 20th. Tickets for these and all of their shows are available at ramsheadonstage.com, or if you find yourself in downtown Annapolis, the box office is adjacent to the Ram's Head Tavern, located at 33 West Street.
If you're looking for local sports, it's right here, right now on the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief.
Hey everybody, welcome to your Wednesday edition of Eye on Sports, where we have got all the high school playoff action for you, starting with Monday night varsity field hockey. Southern was at Patuxent. Pax Riv won 5-0. Bennett at Chesapeake. Chesapeake won 4-1. North County at Old Mill won 7-0. Arundel at Severna Park. The Falcons of Severna Park won 3-0. South River at Broadneck. South River took it 2-1. And Chesapeake Science Point at Frederick Douglass. Chesapeake Science won 5-0 in girls varsity soccer. Last night, starting with boys varsity soccer, Chesapeake Science at Frederick Douglass, where Frederick Douglass won 4-0. Southern at La Plata. La Plata won the close game 1-0. Northeast at James Bennett won 2-1. Decatur at Chesapeake won 5-0. North County at Meade won 4-0. Broadneck at Leonardtown won 2-0. North Point at South River won 3-1. Arundel at Severna Park won 6-0. Jumping over to varsity girls soccer playoff action, Southern was at La Plata. Southern won 1-0. Northeast at Chesapeake High, Chesapeake won 1-0. Meade at Severna Park won 8-0. Arundel at Old Mill won 1-0. North Point at Broadneck took it home 7-0. Leonardtown at South River, Leonardtown won 2-0. And finally, the LA Dodgers forced a Game 7 against the Houston Astros in the World Series after winning 3-1 last night. That's all I got for you. This has been your Eye on Sports. I'm Kevin Chaney.
Thanks for listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. If you like what you heard, make sure to tell your friends and colleagues about it. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find much more. Be sure to check out our other weekly podcast, The Maryland Crabs. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at noon. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.